There's a lot of talk today about rolling up your sleeves. Rolling up your sleeves is a choice. The term used to mean roll up your sleeves and get your hands dirty. It meant pull your pants up and stand up. It meant do something. You can't do anything if you tell yourself you can't, or you're not good enough. Or what does it matter? We can't do anything about it, right? You can't do anything with that mentality. We can't do anything with the mentality of there's no one to hear us, there's no one to listen. Because we listen to ourselves telling ourselves we can't, or we're not going to make a difference, or we don't know how. You do know how. It's in here. Actually, it's right about here. It's in your forehead. Your frontal lobe. It's where our emotions and our problem solving and decision making and choice comes from. Why do you think when they go for the clinical term would be psychotic, why do they always go for a frontal lobotomy? It's a disconnecting of the frontal lobe. That was a physical removal of the spirit of choice. How about a chemical now? A chemical injected intravenously that will allow you to be docile, to keep that mentality, to lock that mentality in that you can't do it, or you won't do it, or you're not going to be able to. Do you know how you keep from losing a job? Because you won't make a choice? You go out there and you start it yourself. I hope this reaches a few nurses and doctors that have chosen not to make the choice to roll up their sleeve to keep their job. I encourage you to seek the old ways and find the old paths. And those aren't so far away that we can't nail down how it was. I'm 34. My grandparents would have known what a house call was. A house call would have been a doctor that traveled from home to home and had a specific clientele. There's nothing in this world that stops you from having your own private practice. There's nothing in this world that stops you from opening your own office. There's nothing in this world that stops you from doing what you love and helping people. But we bind ourselves in corporate chains and believe that they are the only ones that we can do business with, because they have made us docile by giving us everything that we want at the drop of a dime. Literally. You walk in, you get what you want, you go to the counter, you ring it up, and you drop your money in the cashier's hand. Or, you know, it's all digital now and it just goes straight through a little card reader. But when you tell yourself, I can't do it, and the government is giving away money for grants for people to start their own small businesses, why not use the tool? Because if you're successful, which you can be, and a prime example of that would be two independent artists, which I do respect in their words and their lyrics. And they prove that you can do it with enough hard work. You can do it without doing it the mainstream way of getting a music deal, signing a contract, taking an oath. Do you think if veterans became independent contractors, otherwise normally deemed today mercenaries, do you think we would have the problem beyond the southern border that is forcing people to leave everything they know and run to somewhere they think they'll be accepted and is better? Do you think that would be a problem? I mean, we did have a movie kind of enforcing the idea. It was a Larry the Cable Guy, so nobody took it seriously. But Delta Force was exactly what our military is supposed to do. Why haven't we gone to our brothers beyond the southern border with our military, where we don't even have to fly? I mean, we could drive and go take care of the issues that are down there and help our closest humans of another country that really truly need us the most. People believe they can't do that because of man-made boundaries, walls. No, I'm not going to lie. I have 4 walls around my house. I don't have a fence around my yard. And if I did, it was so my child could play in the yard. And it'd be harder for her to get to the road. She knows better, but nevertheless, the physical walls we see do not stop people who are determined enough to get away from the hell they live in, especially when it seems like nobody wants to help them. There's definitely a war on terror. It's never ended, but we're coming up on the 20th anniversary of the beginning of it. That will also be 9 months of people being expected to roll up their sleeves. I want you to think to yourself, 9 months, what's that mean to you? First thing that comes to your mind. And of course, I could get into the 20-year period, but that's going too far off track. Everything now is psychological warfare, i.e. spiritual warfare, because our psyche is our collective consciousness, which is part of the collective life, spirit, or force that is on this planet of which we live, this space in time of which we live. There is a collective battle against the spirit of good. Because when we say we can't, that's bad. We can overcome this. Nature depends on it. And the survival of humanity depends on it. Because we all know that it's a fact that if we were to cut all this off, if we were to cut that away, if you've ever been to Discovery Place, of course in Charlotte, North Carolina, they do the exhibit all over the world, where they have removed the skin from a human being And they've encapsulated it or found a way to preserve it to where they can show that underneath this outside that is programmed from within to distinguish itself from another thing that separates us from nature, that we are literally all the same. We all look the same. We all have a similar or same structural makeup. Our bone structures are the same between male and female, each of them having their own slightly different structure. Hence the reason why in autopsies of does, they are still able to determine, just with skeletal remains, a male from a female. And you can never, no matter what you change on the outside and how much you try to modify the inside, you can never change that bone structure. You can't. You can't change what's structurally inside. So why believe that you can be something you're not? Part of changing is accepting what is. What you always have been, whether you knew who or what that was in your upbringing, your programming, your teaching. What we are taught are the garments we're wrapped in, the blood we're wrapped in, every stereotype, anything divisive is only a construct of human intellect. Human intellect, not natural intelligence. And our natural intelligence is our biggest downfall. Because with that intelligence, we want to dominate and control everything else around us and beyond the just around us. It's been a long journey to realize this. And aside from every bit of the mysticism throughout every religious text, and as the name of the channel depicts, it's been a long journey. It's been a long road. It hasn't been an easy road. It's been a road of jackhammering concreted beliefs. To see the simplicity and the real truth that religion is a man construct. It is not something that was created by God. Man has made God to look like a man. When in the very beginning it said that God was a spirit and God created man in his image with a spirit, with intelligence, and with free will. There's your simplest breakdown. We can do anything we want to do. Anything the mind can fathom, we can do. It's just figuring out how to get there. One of my favorite quotes from a really good movie was National Treasure. And it was said, Thomas Edison was said to have failed 99 times before he made the first light bulb. Well, it was said that it was quoted that Edison said, "I didn't fail. I found 99 reasons how not to make a light bulb." That's your glass half full. In the same words, in a different context, Edison said, "I didn't fail. I learned from something that didn't work. You know how you stop the entire cycle? And this cycle of problem, reaction, solution. Do you know how you stop that cycle? You don't react. Because then a solution is not needed. If there's no reaction to the problem, if there's no submission to the problem, compliance to the problem, it goes away. In my upbringing, both from my mother and those around in my family, as well as in state custody, I was always told, don't react, just ignore it. The reaction is a fuel for that problem. Because a problem doesn't have to be a person, it doesn't have to be a place, it doesn't have to be a thing. A problem can be a thought. And not all good thoughts turn into actions. But not all actions are from good thought or even thinking. Actions made without thinking are irrational. They're ones you didn't choose to avoid. Use your mind. Your mind is where your power is. Your mind is where your spirit is. Your mind is where your generator is. The heart doesn't produce electricity. It provides fuel for the generator. Oxygen, blood, minerals. All the things our brain requires to operate on and to produce electricity to power our bodies. Your power is in your mind. You can do anything you want to do. It is all in how you use your mind. Will you use your mind for good? Or will you use your mind to plot against the good? Because collectively, regardless of how much we want to think about it, regardless of how much you're willing to dig to find real truth, the news shows us the bad. The bad is a minority in this world. There are more good than bad. There are way more good than bad. There are way more people who are aware than people who are not. And I don't even think the awareness sees how much awareness there is. Are you aware? Are you awake? Are you still sleeping in the dust? Or has your mind and your intelligence been resurrected by the things you are seeing? And are you going to uncover your mind, allow the veil to be lifted, to see the real truth, and the truth that will save your lives in the time to come. Because business is wicked. Business is ruling politics. You think politicians are doing this? The business is politics. Blood sucking many. Saw NBC put something up a little bit ago about looting in Africa. I didn't see looting in any of those frames. I saw people, humans, that don't have anything because of the chains that bind them, which is the rich business in every single country, nation, continent, whatever, that binds the people in chains because they decide what the necessities are worth. Business dictates inflation. Do you think the government cares about inflation? No, because they have taxes coming in, more taxes, and then they can raise the tax rates and still suck more of the life out of the people until they've consumed everything and left nothing behind. Like wolves who leave nothing behind for the morning. Unchain yourself. Find the old paths. There are many people in this world who are willing to trade, to barter, to help each other. You need something, I need something, let's help each other out. Because those are the old ways and those are the old paths before a monetary system was created by man. In the book of Revelation, it says that whoever this world ruling empire will be, or is, will enforce some type of system that requires you to have one or all three parts of this system to be able to buy or sell. It doesn't say anything about trading. It doesn't say anything about people operating on their own systems. This is how you survive. This is how you're concealed. This is how you are protected. Because if I need a cow, I'll paint your truck. If I need food, and you have food, and you need services, and you need help, I will help. I will roll up my sleeves for that work. But I'm not going to roll up my sleeves to submit to something that is still experimental. And we all know that experiments have owners. You can do it. You don't have to make that choice because they tell you you have to. There is someone out here that needs your help. And at that, I'll close this one. I hope this has helped. From the heart with love, I'm out.